Hello, today we're going to do a rear shelf for the Toyota RAV4 EV first generation. Now if you follow me to the back of the car, you can easily look into the car, the back of the car, and see what's there. Now if you like me have a charger, so you can hook it up to the J1772 plug-in. Then you obviously don't want the general public to know that you have a charger in the back. And you'll see that there's quite a bit of space in here, but it's not secure. Now what I've done is created a shelf that will cover the whole of the top of the back, creating a trunk that you cannot see into from the outside. Now to reduce the weight, I have made it of cardboard. Now I realize that it's easy to break into. If a thief really wants to get into, they will break into your vehicle no matter what. But if they can't see what you have in the back, they are less likely to break in. So let me show you how I created and constructed the shelf. Once you have cut the 8-foot piece of wood in half, you save one of the halves because that's the exact measurement that you need. The other one, you reduce it to 44 inches wide, which means you have a 4-inch piece left over. You take the 44-inch piece and you drill a hole towards the bottom of one side. This will be looking from the side, and you screw in a screw hook. If you notice, the bottom part has been bent out, and this is so you can slot it into the support. So put a hook like this on both sides, very simple to do, and then you'll be ready to put the supports inside the vehicle. This is the right hand panel from the trunk, and in order to take it off, you just turn these handles here to open like this. Bottom there are 3 pieces sticking out which slot into the side of the trunk, and then this is an example of a corner brace. Unfortunately I don't have a smaller one, but this is one with 2 holes. You need one, the smaller one that comes to about there, that just has 1 hole on each side. Okay, it's very, very cheap to get at any hardware store. Now, in order to have some support for the shelf, we need to put in some supports. So the first thing you need to do is to get a corner brace like this. It's just a very simple corner brace. I've actually used part of an old door lock and I bent it in half. So just make sure you have 1 hole in the top and 1 on the side to fasten it to the panel, and you'll need a bolt with a nut on the back to fasten it. So you will need to drill a hole. Now, to position it, if you notice, this is almost parallel with the top here, and that's where you need to position it before you drill the hole. Okay? On the other side is a piece of wood left over from cutting the actual supports. It's about 1.5 inches, and again you should position it actually a little higher than the other side, almost to the top, not quite. And if you turn it over, you'll see two wood screws that hold in that piece of wood from the other side. These are the two panels with the construction of these supports. And so these are ready to go, and all we need to do is to slot them in the sides of the trunk. On the right side of the trunk is a space which is covered by a panel. So we're going to put the panel back by slotting it in the bottom first and turning this to the upright position. Now if you notice, the wooden piece at the back and the corner brace at the front. Little tricky here on the other side because I've got to make sure the wires match up to the hole here. But then you put it in here, turn that so it's upright, same over here. Okay, so now you've got the two pieces that are going to hold the piece of cardboard that goes across the top. So let me now show you the supports. We're going to put these in the hole. See that? Just slot it right in, and it slots in on the other side. So if I come back a bit, you can now see there is a support going all the way across the top. The other one is very simple. There's no screws. It just slots in like this. And on the other side, same thing. So it's just held in by those rods. Okay, so moving back, you can see we now have a shelf. Okay, so the next step is to do the shelf itself. This is the piece of cardboard that you need. Okay, it's approximately 48 inches by, I think it was about 28 inches. Okay, and you'll have to do this by trial and error, cutting out the pieces until it fits exactly. But because it's cardboard, it's quite easy to do. If you notice there's a lip on the lower part, that's because I misjudged the fact that the door is inset, so you have to allow for that. This is the left rear corner. This is the right rear corner. This is the right interior corner. And this is the left interior corner. Now in the middle, in the interior, you notice it is not even, and that's because the seats in the back don't actually even up themselves. We start off by putting it in sideways, okay, and then we're going to jiggle it around so it fits flat on the top. Now remember, I've done a lot of cutting to fit this perfectly, but look at that. That fits down really nice. And now you've got a shelf. I haven't spray painted it black yet. You see what I mean about over here, how it sticks out? And that's because the door is actually inset in here. Okay, now it's kind of a high shelf, but there's really no other way to do it. Because these parts have to be removable, because you need to get, if you need to get into these panels here for any reason, because you have your tools in here, and this panel, you have to be able to get into it. And to get into it is quite easy, because you just unhook here. And you see? Now, okay, now that we've finished, one thing I should mention, well, we're not quite finished, you've got to spray paint it black, but I should mention that you really shouldn't put anything heavy on it. It's really only good for a magazine or an article of clothing, something light, but you couldn't put a laptop on it or anything like that. So anything heavy is just too much. Basically what this is theft prevention, okay? Let's say you go to more than one store when you're shopping, okay? So you can put your bags underneath the shelf, close the door, and nobody would see, okay? So you feel secure, you can go on to your second destination and shop without the risk of someone breaking in to steal your bags or whatever you put under the shelf. So basically it's a deterrent, okay? It's not actually going to stop a thief. If a thief wants to steal something, they'll break the window and get in, okay? But if they can't see anything to steal, they're less likely to break in. So it's well worth spending a little bit of time doing this. And I estimate a material cost, under $15, probably closer to $10. And the cardboard was just scrapboard, lying around the house from a large flat screen TV box. And that's all you really need. If you look at the thickness of this cardboard, it's not that thick. And it's strong enough, but it's not super strong. So again, don't recommend putting anything heavy on it. So now I have finished spray painting the shelf black, and I'm going to put it in the back so you can see what it looks like. I get it exactly how I want it. Okay, stepping back, you can now see it's completed. And it's really not that thick, the cardboard. And the main reason I'm using these construction materials is so that it's light, very, very lightweight. Must weigh less than 5 pounds. Thank you for watching.